I'm Roger Mader with AMPERSAND. Let's talk about finding the future first. Secondary research is where you go wide, where you're looking across wide swaths of terrain, oftentimes using different technologies. This is an example of using different kinds of topographical data, including infrared and seismic data, in order to be able to anticipate what's going on underneath the surface of the Earth. In much the same way, when we're looking at market behaviors, we might use different technologies to scan widely. Some of the best statistics you've ever seen were first pioneered by Hans Rosling, who's a statistician with the United Nations. You can find him on TED, and his TED Talk is remarkable in showing how you could use big data, in this case about human longevity, poverty, and health, in order to determine how best to invest in the future of human welfare.
Here we go. Can you see there? It's China. They're moving against better health. They're improving there. All the green Latin American countries, they are moving towards smaller families. The yellow ones here are the Arabic countries, and they get larger families, but longer lives, but not larger families. The Africans are the green down here. They still remain here. This is India. Indonesia is moving on pretty fast. And in the 80s here, you have Bangladesh still among the African countries there, but not Bangladesh. It's a miracle that happens in the 80s. The imams start to promote family planning, and they move up into that corner. And in 90s, we have the terrible HIV epidemic that takes down the life expectancy of the African countries, and all the rest of the world moves up into the corner where we have long lives and small family, and we have a completely new world.
This kind of big data analysis has been further developed, in this case, by a company called Quid. Quid's a Silicon Valley startup that does this amazing job of gathering data from both proprietary sources, such as patent data sets, unique combination of different company information, as well as all the information available on the World Wide Web, or your own proprietary data that you can feed into the system in order to define underlying factors using natural language. If you don't have high-end technology available to you, divide the world into 4 themes: sociology, economics, science, and technology. Let's explain what we mean by each of these. When we talk about sociology, what we're really talking about are emerging behaviors. One of the ways to study this is to look at extreme users. Societies are operating in a much more urban setting. There's huge migration going to these urban centers. It's becoming increasingly dense, and it's changing the expectations that we each have of each other as we live in such close proximity. We're also seeing a growing self-reliance where individuals are taking personal responsibility in a way that they haven't in the past. Transformational social movements powered by technology first began to emerge with the Occupy Wall Street movement, the events of Tahrir Square in the Arab Spring, and continue around the world today. Let's talk about economics. One of the things that we're seeing is this transformational shift in wealth as new emerging middle classes are arriving in China and India and other emerging societies. This is going to tectonically shift the way that whole economies behave. As these countries rise from poverty into an emerging middle class, we're going to see a drop in birth rates and a stabilizing of the world's global population. You can then mine this data and go into each of these different domains that you reveal to go more deeply into the things that matter for your research. What we're seeing in emerging primary science is innovations that are taking place as a result of climate change. And we're also seeing the ability for us to live longer, healthier lives and participate in society for generations. Technology now is also a major factor. It's becoming ubiquitous. We're finding that children are immersed in technology from birth. They are literally born digital, which is transforming their expectations as they arrive in adulthood. These technologies are globally connected and always on, creating a level of connectivity among societies in a way that has never happened before. So how are you going to go about your inquiry in these 4 different domains? In simplest form, think of it as doing a search. You could do in sociology a series of searches around these kinds of key themes: a named person, a population, a society, an event, a vote, anything that is demonstrative of human behavior. From an economic standpoint, just think of the key terms that drive the behavioral impact on your target population. Emerging technologies, again, look at those things that are emerging themes that are beginning to show up in the target audience that you're focused on. And lastly, the sciences, which are the slowest to arrive into the activities of our daily lives, means that you're going to have to search for things and then try and filter for those that are going to arrive in the lives of your population in the time frame that you're targeting. Ultimately, what you're going to do with your findings are take these trends and converge them. What happens, for example, when we expect people are going to be living longer, healthier lives at the same time that the employment market is being wildly disrupted by artificial intelligence? So we're all going to have to be retraining ourselves for a second life. At the same time that sort of retirements are not and social welfare nets are evaporating, we're going to be living longer and more challenged in our work. So, what are the kinds of solutions that you might bring to bear? If that's your focus area, converging these two creates a very valuable conversation. And there'll be other factors as well. So create these intersects to create conversations that are focused on challenges that are emerging in the future. I'm Roger Mader. Thank you very much.